back to another video. Once again, we are back with another Tesla modification, and today we are taking a look at the brand new Yoke steering wheel. Again, I'm hoping I'm saying that right. I still don't know how to say it. But anyway, guys, this is once again a new modification, and this might just be the coolest one that I have done, but it was also the most trickiest one. So this video is going to be a relatively longer video, so please watch the whole thing to get a proper idea of how to install the steering wheel and how to make sure it works the moment you put it on your or link it up with the system. But real quickly, guys, the Yoke steering wheel was provided by Tesery. I want to take this moment to once again thank Tesery for their continued support and their continued love in the Technoid show. Remember, guys, everything they do is out of the kindness, and I appreciate them. But once again, like I say in all my reviews and everything that I do, this has no affiliation on my opinion. Although, to be fair, this is actually a very cool steering wheel. But anyway, guys, let's go right into the installation. Let's talk about it, and then I'll give you my thoughts. Alrighty, guys, so this video is going to be split up into a couple of pieces. This is actually one of the longer installations that I am doing. So this is going to show you the unboxing, the removal of the old steering wheel, also a special step that you have to do. I say special very strongly because you will see as we continue. And then also we will talk about installing the new steering wheel and then my experience. So taking a look at the unboxing, it's a very standard average unboxing from Tesery. They make it very, very clean. Their unboxings are usually nice. It displays everything beautifully. On the inside, when you open up the box, there's a nice black cover that protects the steering wheel. And inside, the steering wheel itself is covered with this mesh kind of, cloth that helps to wrap around it, so that prevents the white leather from staining. Inside, you also have the metal buttons, just like the original. It also has built-in lights for ambient lighting. It also has the connectors. And also, lastly, at the bottom of the box, there is a plastic housing, which I will explain what that is. But now we get to the installation. So the first step you have to do is power off the car. That's very, very relatively easy. Just go into settings, hit the power off, and that's it. Now, during the installation, we found out that that was kind of useless because it kept turning back on. So you can do the installation with it, off or on. The next thing you have to do is then take off the airbag system in the middle. Now, on the side of your steering wheels, there are going to be two holes. It is very, very important to note that each Tesla has different holes depending on where they are made in different manufacturings. So one of them could be inward, one of them could be outwards, and that will depend on where the car is manufactured, where they manufactured it from. So just make sure to double check your car before ordering your steering wheel, so that way you get the right holes, so that way you can loosen the safety clicks on the inside, and that way the steering wheel will just be able to come right off. Once you then disconnect the connectors on the inside, or just move the prongs, you can then pull off the safety bag, and it actually is a really piece of impressive technology looking at how this little thing operates, especially with all the sensors. The next thing you have to do is then remove the cable that links the airbag system to the steering wheel. And it's very, very simple. You could use a clip, you can also use some tweezers, or you can use even the screwdriver, as you're about to see. But ultimately, you're better off being safe. Don't try to pull it. Don't try to, do it with your hands. Let's put it to you that way. All right, so once you disconnect the ribbon cable, it's now time to loosen the steering wheel. Now, in the center of the steering wheel, there is going to be a screw that you are going to have to use with some brute force, and I strongly emphasize brute force. As you're going to see, my uncle has to pull off the old switcheroo with the big, long rod and also the wrench. Just hold your steering wheel, have one person helping you with this, because it's going to be hard doing it on your own. If you can do it on your own, then hey, kudos to you. But essentially, just loosen the center bolt, and once you do it using brute force, you can then go back in and take out the extender, and then you can loosen the bolt manually easier on the inside. Just give it a couple of twists, and then the last thing you have to do is then, of course, remove the steering wheel. Now, removing the steering wheel is going to require a lot of force. It is going to require some, again, brute force, but knowing my uncle and his old school tricks, the old mallet will do the trick. So give it a couple taps, or if you have the strength, just wiggle it out. But you want to loosen it because the screw keeps it intact. But other than that, it is going to be very, very easy to pull off. Just give it some wiggle room. Again, make sure you pull the screw out, and then with a little bit of wiggle and twisting and maneuvering, you can then be able to pull the steering wheel off. So now that we've pulled the steering wheel off, and now that you're seeing it come loose, there is a very important next step, which we're going to talk about. So now let's talk about that, and that is removing the heated steering wheel function chip at the bottom of the original. Now, this will make or break your installation. This is going to actually be a huge deal breaker if you don't do this step. When we put the steering wheel on the first time and put it back in, the car did not register, and it had a hard time syncing with the new steering wheel because we didn't remove the original chipset that's at the bottom of the wheel. So what you have to do is you have to take the original steering wheel. You don't have to take it fully apart. There are some videos showing you have to. In this case, you really don't, because it's just so easy to just access. You just have to loosen a couple of screws, then you can pull off the plastic piece. Then, as you see at the bottom, there is this little computer chipset that links to the steering wheel, that then links with the car to give it all of the functionalities of the heated steering wheel, the horn, the airbags support, everything. So it registers with the car. You're going to want to loosen that chipset, and be very, very careful with this, guys, because there is a connector on the inside as well. You have to disconnect the connector, and also make sure that you continue to do this installation with all of caution, because one tiny mistake will cause this whole thing to be useless. Once you loosen the connector, you can pull out the cord and pull out the chip. And then lastly, you just go into the Tesery box. It will feature its own little plastic connector. As you see, we're doing a real quick test fitting, but as you can see, it doesn't fit, so you have to replace. It connects nicely, but the connector being used is not the one that we need for this installation. So thankfully, Tesery gives you a connector of their own inside of the box. All you have to do is just use that one and resync over the chipset from the bottom of the box into now the chip. So once you've done that, once you've added the chip, once you have placed everything into the steering wheel, as you can see, you connect the connector up. And again, real quickly, word of caution, please be careful when exchanging the chipset from the original steering wheel to the new steering wheel, because one small move will break the connector's housing or even the connector port itself. But once we've done all that, and once you put it inside and it just lays flush at the bottom of the steering wheel, we are then ready to now go back to the car and put the steering wheel on. So heading back over to the car, the last thing you have to do is now put it back into place and connect all the connectors. Now again, as you see, turning off the car, which turned out to be useless, so you could again just do this all with the car on. But again, safety first if you want to turn it off. Make sure that you align the connector straight as best as you can with the steering wheel, because once you put it back on, whichever way you centered it is going to be how it's going to be from the moment you continue driving. So try to line up the prongs and the center hole as best as possible with the wheels outside. Once you do that, you slip it into place, and then you just push it in. The next thing you do, once you get it into place and you get it in nice and snug, just reconnect the connectors, re-input the screw. That's all you really have to do. And then the last thing is also connecting back the airbag system. So putting back in the screw and putting everything all together, you then have the final result, and this is the end result. This is how the steering wheel looks. This is how it's going to be when you plug in your car, and it looks phenomenal. So that is the installation process. Again, guys, I want it to be as detailed as possible. Please make sure you do that chip transfer set, because trust me, guys, your car will suffer if you don't transfer over that bottom chip for the heated steering wheel function and also for the horn function and everything. So that's the installation. Now let's talk about my thoughts.
Now, when it comes to the driving, I actually got to tell you guys, I really enjoy the driving on the steering wheel. Not only does it do a very, very good job in being very smooth, but it actually feels much more lighter and so much more natural. It almost feels like you're playing a game. As a matter of fact, you could see I'm turning it, I'm driving now, I'm heading onto the highway. It's really easy to use, and I was really surprised, because when I first got it, I thought, all right, this is probably going to have to be something that I'm going to have to get used to. This is probably something that I'm going to have to adjust, or maybe even just something I'm going to have to, take some time to use. But I've only used it for about almost a week, maybe two at this point. And to be quite honest with you, I've gotten used to it with no problem at all. As a matter of fact, I really, really love it. I think the feel of it feels more natural. It feels smoother. The details in the steering wheel feel one for one, just like your regular Tesla steering wheel. And honestly, when it comes to doing U-turns, making turns, doing it with one hand, it will do it. Like, watch, I'm going to turn right now and I'm holding onto the steering wheel, but if I turn into one direction and go sharp, I can just put my palm on it and it does it very, very good. So I actually enjoy the experience with this over the regular steering wheel because I never really gripped the top. When it comes to the full self-driving with Tesla, you know, you do have to make sure you are monitoring, and it does have the sensor points at the side of the handle, so you could squeeze it. Now, the car won't register that it's a Yoke steering wheel. It will not know that. The software will think that it's a regular steering wheel, but I applied the pressure that was needed to when I was doing the self-driving and also taking a look at these areas. And so far, I haven't noticed any issues at all, and the car seems to be treating it very well with the full self-driving. And then lastly, the last thing to talk about is, of course, if you have any other accessories, is it compatible? Yes, it works just like the regular steering wheel. It's a great product. It's a great add-on. I actually think that this is one of the more uniquer things you can do to your Model Y. The white color so far has been pretty promising, and I actually got to tell you, the white is actually really cool. But you will have to wash your hands before you use the steering wheel. That's just what my uncle advises anyway. And it is a little bit, at times you can see some of the dirt, but you wipe it off, it's clean. So that's really it for the Yoke steering wheel. I think Tesery made a great product, a great design. It works very, very good. It feels like a one-for-one of the Tesla model that they have on the Model S and the Model X. And I actually think that this is something that I can see a lot of Tesla owners wanting to do. It gives a nice feel of customability to your car, and it just makes it feel a little bit more of a premium package. So I am absolutely all for the Yoke steering wheel if you have the Tesla Model Y and even the Model 3. So I will leave a link in the description on where you can pick up the steering wheel. I think it's actually a very, very good accessory. I really love it, and it's honestly one of my favorites right now. So thank you once again to Tesery for being a part of today's episode and sending over the steering wheel. Again, guys, please check the link in the description and use my code to help save yourself some money, because all the time you guys do that, you're helping the Technoid Show and our continued support with Tesery. Anyway, guys, that's it for today's episode. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Take care, stay safe. I will see you all in the next episode. Have a good day, and peace!